International Marketing and Communication, and today we're recording a new episode of Making Sense, and today we're making sense of Performance Max. So with me today I have two guest speakers, our very own Costanza Ghelfi, who's our Product and Delivery Director and also the co-founder of Now.
Thank you.
And right next to me here we have Matz Lukmani, who is the Product Lead of Performance Max at Google. Welcome both.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and also a very happy birthday to you, Matz.
No, it's my birthday today. It's a tradition, a podcast every birthday.
Good tradition. So this is your first birthday podcast?
It's my first birthday podcast.
Oh, it is? Okay, fantastic. So, to kick us off, I would like to hear from you both, but maybe you first, Matz. Since it's your birthday as well.
Okay, love it.
What's your opinion on the impact of automation and AI and having an effect on online advertising?
Okay, cool. Great question, by the way. Lovely question to start with. Hello, everyone. My name is Matz. As mentioned, I work at Google. I lead product activation for a very well-known product called Performance Max. Our aim with PMax is to bring the best of AI together in under one campaign. So this question is spot on because it addresses a topic that I work on heavily. To me, personally, it's AI is the way you can have a competitive advantage. If you're an advertiser, or if you're an agency, if you're in the space of running ads, it allows you to go much faster, much more quicker, and much more further away. Think about production cycles, building creatives. Now you'll have the ability to build a lot more creatives with much less input. That's just one element. When it comes to performance campaigns, our aim is to use AI as a modeling method in the backend to figure out where to run the ads, where are the right places to feature your brand at the right moment in time to the right users and at the right marginal cost. So you're not spending a lot on your advertising, you're spending the least and driving the most impact. And we've done that with Performance Max. It's an old campaign type now. It's been there for 3+ years. And we run these studies on our end to see, are these campaigns performing to its max? And are they doing what we designed them to do? AKA driving better value for our advertisers at lower costs. And the latest study that we ran, where we looked at advertisers using Performance Max versus other campaign types, we noticed advertisers running PMax were driving up to 27% better conversions or conversion value, whatever they're optimizing towards, at the same cost. So marginally, it's better to invest in a universal AI-powered campaign than on a single channel campaign. There's definitely a lot of reasons why you still want to run single channel campaigns, but AI-based campaigns are slightly better at getting you what you need. If performance is your objectives, our aim is to keep bringing that to all our campaign types. So in the future, the best of Google AI will come into search, into demand gen, into PMax, all our campaigns, and not just in Performance Max. And to me, that's the big advantage, like giving you the competitive edge to become better at marketing.
Yeah, and actually we see it every day with the advertisers that use Machina. We see how the Performance Max is changing the way advertisers do marketing, and this shift in the way the landscape, let's say, is changing. So what really excites me the most about Performance Max is the fact that it's democratizing the access to good advertising. Yeah. Because before, if you wanted to have a good campaign, an effective one, you needed, first of all, a big budget, big creative team, an advanced strategy. And now with these kind of automated campaigns, while also small businesses, startups, or simply companies that doesn't have such an enormous creative team, what they can do very good campaigns, compete for visibility, and achieve great results. So
yeah, I love it. It's not just for the smallest advertisers in the world, it's for everyone across the board. Exactly. They just use it differently.
Exactly. And actually, it comes to my mind, the stats that I read the other day. It's from Google, so maybe you can correct me.
All right.
I was saying that 54% of small business enterprises are already using generative AI to create their assets in Performance Max. So
it's a big thank you for paying attention to us. We try hard to bring them out. Cool.
So it's actually happening, that shift. So it doesn't matter if you are the market leader, if you are the incumbent or a new entrant. Well, we are all competing now in a much more level field, and that's exciting. It's like empowering innovation, and it's cool actually. Another quote from Google, because looks like you're my main source of quotes.
We could exchange some quotes.
No, but I read that slide that said you're not competing against artificial intelligence, you're competing against a competitor that is using artificial intelligence, and that's happening. So if you haven't started yet, you get a bit started with Performance Max and artificial intelligence.
So it's a good time to start.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, those are great inputs, Carlos, and I'm confused to get some promotion there from all
I know, I'm excited. Our stats are being used very heavily, so we'll continue working on them.
Yeah, but Matt, you mentioned the surfacing of the right ads. So what ad formats are covered in PMax, and what are the latest strategies to deliver the best performance?
Got it. Okay, so just to give a little bit of a soundbite, Performance Max covers all of Google's surfaces. So any areas, any Google property that you want to advertise on, it's all packaged under this one universal campaign, and we'll just keep getting more complex in terms of where users can be reached. So all of that will continue to surface within the PMax umbrella. Currently, it covers things like Google Search, shopping campaigns, so all of Google shopping inventory, YouTube, GDN, which is our display network, Google Maps, very, very important once the shipping window is closed, by the way, and then Gmail, which is extremely personalized in the way it advertises. And we've seen, again, a lot of advertisers using all the Gen AI features behind the scene that we are launching. The way it publishes the right ads is by looking at what you're giving as an input. A clean trick would be to use something called URL expansion that allows us to get this data back in. So if, let's say, you want to create a new campaign, you go into Google Ads, you tell us what's important to you, you give us your URL. Google will scan your website, figure out what assets make sense to advertise for your brand, which users are the most relevant, learn from other campaigns in the account, and then run ads across the board for your brand. So in my opinion, it's a really good game changer. If you're a new advertiser or you're an existing one, trying to get into a new market, for example, or adding a new brand or a channel, it allows you to go fast really quickly. And then in terms of Gen AI features, we are investing heavily to bring in better prompting technology. So you can have a conversation where possible and use Google Ads as a way to generate more variations of ads and assets. We started with English language support because most of our users are proficient in it. And this year we rolled out 7 additional European languages. So it's English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, Italian, and German. And if you're one of these native speakers, you can have those conversations in Google Ads, use the prompting to create better assets and have a real impact on your performance. Since we all love stats, I can share a few more stats. So we've launched Gen AI features now for almost a year. And we've seen a lot of traction with advertisers using this feature. On an average, what we noticed was advertisers that used generative AI features, so using prompting in Google Ads to create more assets for their campaigns, were 63% more likely to get an excellent ad strength score. Ad strength score is a score that tells you whether you have good enough assets in your campaign. So you have enough asset variation in your campaigns to drive performance. Advertisers, on an average, 63% of the time were hitting that good and excellent ad strength score by using Gen AI. Another study where we looked at, does this correlate with good performance, proved positive as well, which means if you go from a lower ad strength score to an excellent or good, you tend to drive 6% more conversions for the same investment that you're making on your ads. So it correlates very closely. Good assets mean good performance. And with Gen AI, you can drive a lot of that. One good case study we got from US was Events Ticket Center. It's an events marketplace online, and they operate mostly in the US market. They use text-to-image prompting technology in Google Ads to create multiple variations of their ads. The first instance, they created around 100 additional relevant images for their advertising, and that helped them 5x their production capacity for ads. which is a lot more variations they could put out there. And they're an events business, so it's about reaching more people. And that correlated with performance. They were able to drive 300% increase in conversions.
That's impressive.
So like 3 times more, right? So it's amazing impact. And to me, like those are the big, real cool stuff. There's more things you can do. Like we're trying to bring better insights powered by AI as well. So in the future and currently in Google Ads as well, you'll be able to go in and see what are your top audiences. It's something called the audience insights. And that allows you to figure out, are you reaching customers with the right assets? And are they converting towards the right audiences? So if there's a gap, let's say your top 3 audience types, you're not even reaching or converting with PMax, that's a big opportunity for you to create better assets for those audiences.
That's super interesting. I'm sure that a lot of advertisers out there will love it. So the long-awaited data are there. We just have to do a good use of them.
And that's the catch. Like it's looking at these insights, giving us feedback, absolutely. So love partners like Making Sciences. You guys give us one of the most polished insights we can use to build better features. And then monitoring this data, right? Like we have asset level reporting now for PMax. So you can see which assets are leading to conversions. I'm sure you folks were very interested in seeing that data.
We are.
And we got that loud and clear as a feedback. So that's part of our product rollout this year. There's a lot of other insights we're looking at, like opportunity insights. So just beyond audience and assets, advertisers have given us feedback that they would love to test components of PMax campaigns. So if I turn URL expansion on, what's the incremental impact? And more importantly, if I'm investing in better assets, is it driving better conversions? And that's just like the number one question. Even as an agency, you get asked by clients when they want to invest.
It happens a lot.
So that has been the number one feedback again. And you should expect in the future A/B testing features.
That's amazing.
So you can test out these campaign types. If you're interested, as a customer, please reach out to partners like Making Sciences. We'll make sure that we have access to all the allowers and you can try these features out early in advance.
A/B testing in Performance Max is going to be very fun for everyone to test and find out what's working.
I think our focus has been to just launch the campaign, get to a point where advertisers are comfortable with it, and now is the fun part. Kind of diving a little deeper and figure out what to optimize. And we're also learning a lot of things around. There are certain features people would really want to test in an incremental fashion, and assets is the number one example. So we're excited to bring these topics in Google Ads.
Very cool.
I mean, speaking of all assets, creatives, Kos, why don't you tell everyone who's listening a little bit about Ad Machina? What is Ad Machina? Obviously, you're one of the co-founders of Ad Machina, which is Making Science proprietary technology. What its evolution really with AI, because it has so many synergies with Performance Max.
It does indeed. So thank you for the question. Well, Ad Machina, it's a campaign automation tool. So it can be a little bit confusing or surprising, maybe talking about automated campaigns and how to automate them more than how they are already. So the focus of Ad Machina in relation with the Performance Max is feeding the algorithms with the best assets. Matz just said it, good assets means good performance. So that's where Ad Machina came in. We are seeing this shift with the automated campaigns like Performance Max, where creative is the new way you can target, you can teach the algorithms to identify the users you want to reach. So creatives are getting more and more importance, and it's not just in Performance Max. Performance Max is leading the way, but all the other advertising platforms are following. So we have Microsoft Performance Max, we have Advantage Plus in Meta, we have Smart Plus in TikTok, and so on.
There's a lot going on. Since you guys love stats, can I share one more with you? So we ran this really interesting study in the US with TransUnion, and the idea was to understand advertisers that are using Google solutions, specifically Performance Max. Are they seeing better value compared to other social platforms? And they were looking at MMM studies of advertisers at scale. The insight was, as you mentioned, with Performance Max specifically, was driving up to 19% better ROAS compared to other social platforms. So if done right with the right creatives and measured correctly downstream, it does drive good performance on an average, better than anything else you're doing out there.
I wasn't aware of this stat. I will add it into my quotes.
Counted us for doing more of such studies. Yeah, it's 19%. This is it's not 19, but 19, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's coming back to Admachina. So, Admachina is helping with that, with giving the right creatives and doing it at scale. So for those businesses that need, to use PMax with several categories or brands or subset of products, Admachina is a good solution to use generative AI, use Performance Max at its best, but with a level of control and brand guidelines.
So exciting stuff there. Yeah.
So maybe we can open this question to both of you. I mean, unless anyone has a strong opinion of this, but the topic right now is also measurement, if you think about it. So what does the role of measurement play with results for PMax campaigns specifically?
Should I head on first? Yeah. Okay, so to me, it's the most critical thing you can do. Yeah. Imagine this being like a flywheel. Whatever inputs you put in the flywheel has an equal output, and your inputs control the output in this case, especially for AI-powered campaigns. It's like getting on a flight without seeing where the flight is supposed to land.
Yeah, it's a bit dangerous, isn't it?
It's very dangerous. Or you might go to some very exciting places that you plan for. So it's super important to get the inputs right. And what I mean by inputs is what kind of data are you feeding the system? So starting with your goals. Are you setting up the right goals for your campaign? Let's say you're a retailer. Idea is to bid to revenue optimization. And that's been the trend for many years. Now we are seeing a very strong trend to optimize towards profit. And with that in mind, we've launched something called profit optimization for PMax, as well as regular campaigns, regular search and shopping campaigns. So our aim is to continue giving you better features on how do you polish your goals. Retail is one example. It can be very different as well. So it could be like you're an omni-channel retailer and your objective is to drive stores. So you want to make sure you have set that up as the right objective type, driving store visits or store sales. You might want to drive new customer acquisition differently than retaining customers. That's another goal type that we've launched that polishes exactly what you're after. And then it keeps going on and on. For example, if you're a financial institution, it's about driving leads and high value leads. So if you are bidding to lead submission, that's great. Maybe you want to think about qualified leads because they matter more than just regular submissions. And if you have a valuation downstream, you can give us your value data. And to me, that's where the difference happened between a good campaign and an excellent campaign in terms of driving performance. And you have these right goals set up.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting, but it was so great to hear you mentioning finance industry, because there's a common sentiment in the market that thinks that you guys at the product team of Performance Max just focus on retail.
Yeah.
But you do much more than that, and you are focused on other industries beyond retail. Like I was thinking about the automotive sector.
Yes.
You have developed the vehicle ads feeds just for that, or an example, the page feed as well. It adds a lot. An example in the airlines.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very great to hear you talking about finance.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that. I think we lead with a lot of retail, amazing features. I think retailers are very important. We need to make sure we support them, but it doesn't mean there's no development happening for other industries. And I think we should do a better job in even talking about these features as we are launching them, as you rightfully mentioned. So expect more. Definitely cool. A lot more on auto as well.
It's amazing.
On the measurement front, I think you'll probably agree, of course, the foundations are super critical. So make sure you're using enhanced conversion. If you're tracking conversion, if you're tracking leads, enhanced conversion for leads. So financial advertiser, for example, or a B2B advertiser. If you're in a market with consent requirements, using consent mode and then powering all of his conversion with first-party data where possible.
Yeah, amazing. And jumping back to Admachina now, costs. How do you ensure that you use measurement so effectively that only the best type of creative they use?
Well, At Machina, from the measurement point of view, just want to complement what Performance Max is already providing. So we have a module inside our Machina that is called Insight Finders. And the Insight Finders help the advertiser identify the pieces of content or the attributes of your videos or your images that have a statistical correlation with your KPI. So if you're talking about quality leads or ROAS or lifetime value, you just select your real KPI, your business goal, and our Machina can recommend you how to improve that through those attributes. And the cool stuff for me is that this Insight Finder module, it's very focused on actionable insights. So an example, it can tell you that natural light works better for your KPI than artificial one, or smiling people work worse than neutral faces, let's say. So with our Machina, if you decide to use artificial intelligence in the generation of your assets, you can easily change these parameters. Let's say just prompt that you want natural light with neutral faces, and our Machina will create a new complete creative line for you. It is optimized toward your performance goal. So that's...
If I may interject, so let's say just playing devil's advocate, because you can use some of this stuff already, right? So if you are, let's say, a new advertiser trying to set up a Google Ads campaign, there's a lot of AI prompting and AI capabilities for generating assets. Maybe my question to you is, who's an ideal customer for Ad Machina? Like, where do you see them using Ad Machina and investing in that versus maybe delaying them and letting them use Google Ads till they're ready for using these more scaled solutions?
It's a good question, because actually there is plenty of advertisers that don't need to use Ad Machina to get great results with Performance Max. Ad Machina, let's say it's a solution if as a company you have one of these three problems. First one, time. So Ad Machina, being so scalable, allows to save a lot of time to the marketing team. Exactly, for larger companies. So we have measured up to a 80% reduction in time, so time saving by automating the processes with our Machina. Second problem that it solves is control and brand guidelines. So I'm thinking about the financial sector or luxury brands that have very strict compliance, and they cannot use generative AI features so easily. So our Machina gives you like a framework where you can decide for each creatives in which layer you want to apply generative AI, or if you want to keep control of that layer of your image or of your video, exactly, or if of your copy. And the third point is connection with your business data. So in case I don't know, there are businesses that requires their ads to be updated very often, maybe because the prices change very often, daily or hourly, or because they use a lot of offers. Whatever is the reason for that need to update in real time all the ads, well, Ad Machina, it's a good solution because it connects to the business data and it takes the information directly into the images, videos, and copies.
Okay, so for these niche requirements for scaling or time saving, it's a really good add-on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Especially if you look at the US market, they're all about time saving. So it's the product for them, you could say. But if we're talking about opportunities and benefits that you just mentioned, you know, the time saving, and you can create loads of ads on scale. What are the main ups and benefits we see in Performance Max brings to the customers?
From my perspective, we started by the performance implications. So you run studies over and over again. This drives better performance. Running campaigns through PMax on an average around 27% based on the latest stats. But there's a lot of other things you can do that can help you save time and also go to market better. For example, you want to start looking at the insights that you're seeing from your current campaigns to optimize your other campaigns or existing campaigns. What we've seen very, very often is advertisers who are getting into a new brand. So let's say you're a massive advertiser, you have multiple brands, you're launching a new brand. It's the easiest way to go to market with new campaigns without having to create one at a time. So it's easy to scale. If you're getting into new categories, it's an easy way to get into these new categories. If you get into a new market, for example, let's say you're a Spanish brand, well known in Spain, but you're getting into Colombia. So you can easily go to a new market and scale a new campaign without having to do a lot of manual work. The beauty of PMax is the fact that it tries good lower funnel conversions and conversions at the best marginal ROI. And it's a bit different concept than in the past, where advertising was heavily focused around optimizing the average ROI within each channel. We never gotten involved in the process of looking at the marginal cost of not being on a certain channel at a point in time with the right ad. And with PMax, that is automated. It tries to find you the best marginal ROI gain across all channels Google has to offer. So if you can, let's say, get better conversions by advertising 1,000 impressions on Gmail and spending the same amount of dollars by just getting one click on search, you will likely get more conversions by investing on Gmail at that split second. And the campaign tech makes those decisions much better than a human can. And the final element is all the features we are launching, which I would love to hear your feedback on. We've talked about audience insights, performance shift insights, potentially using things like search themes to tune your campaigns towards areas of users that the campaign can't automatically learn. It's something you've built over running years and years of search campaign. And it's not something that's advertised on your website, for example, but it's a signal to go after certain kind of search themes or users on Google search or YouTube, etc. Additional goal types have been very common and heavily used. So using your first party data, think about customer match, and then using that data set to go after new customers differently with a different message or with a slightly different budget expectation, or then returning existing customers and retaining them with a very specific message. And the last element is Gen AI developments that have happened. So kind of curious, like in your opinion, Cause, like what is that you see as the best usage of best practices that drive good results?
Well, you touched a couple of points that I see every day that works a lot, like signals are actually having a big impact, not as much as creatives, but you can see when you use signals right, the algorithms learn much faster. And in general, I mean, what I see with our clients is that Performance Max is really improving the performance. So I was thinking while you were speaking, I was thinking about our travel clients. Machina was started in the travel industry, and we evolved. But we
traveled.
Exactly. But we still have a lot of clients from the travel industry, and I think it's an example about how Performance Max helps more industries beyond retail. And it's impressive from my point of view how those companies, in this case, the ones I'm thinking about, they put their brand as negative. They excluded the brand in the Performance Max because they saw Performance Max as a middle funnel campaign, let's say. So they are comparing the performance of Performance Max with generic keywords, with demand gen, with display. And it got so much more revenue, so much more profitability. That it's the magic about what you were talking about, right? Like finding the right user wherever it is, doesn't matter the platform or the placement.
And tuning them with the right insights.
Exactly. So it's something that we are actually seeing. It's happening.
It's great to get that reinforcement that it's working well.
And the industry by industry, it can achieve different results. But an example in travel, it's the mid-funnel tool, let's say.
Mid-funnel tool for you to drive leads. Okay,
exactly.
Sounds like an exciting place to be,
I mean, you kind of answered my next question, because I was going to ask you about how Ad Machina then complements these opportunities, but maybe I can angle the question a little more like, okay, we've spoken about the opportunity, you said it works mid-funnel for travel, but maybe we can talk about the opportunities with the creatives instead of focusing on, that area of that area.
Well, in the end, Ad Machina, again, just complements Performance Max. So it's a way to get your Performance Max campaign always aligned with your business from the creative point of view, but as well the structure. So an example, if I can take a real example, we are working with the MediaMarkt Saturn Group, that is the biggest consumer electronic retailer in Europe. So a lot of countries, thousands and thousands of products that change every day, and it's key for them to keep their Performance Max campaigns aligned with what's happening every day in the stores, online, offline in each country. So getting Ad Machina for them means that the structure of Performance Max can be adapted automatically every day. So if they have a brand that today is especially competitive in price, or have a lot of stock, or a very good offer, or whatever they decide, it's their role to define what should have more visibility on Performance Max. Well, Ad Machina automates it for them. So their asset group changes every day depending on what's the brand that has the highest probability to convert, or the subcategory or the category, and the creatives follows that flow as well. So also the content shown in the videos or the ads will display the best discount, the best price, or the best offer each day, every day for that specific brand or category.
So this is a little bit off track question, but if you are a retailer, for example, what do you have to have in order for it to manually, to automatically update, and how can you regulate your assets are aligned with the brand?
Well, the idea is to connect your product feed to Ad Machina, so not only to the Google Shopping part, the Google Shopping placement. Ad Machina allows you to take that same dynamism that you have on Google Shopping on all the other placements that Performance Max cover. So search, YouTube, Gmail, the ones that Matz said before. So that's the magic, let's say, to connect your business goal. That the main one is the product feed, but it could be your Google Analytics. It could be your, if you have a competitive, a tool that analyzes your competitive situation, let's say, you can connect it as well, or your real profit in real time. So whatever business information you want to activate in your campaigns, you can connect it to Ad Machina, and that's the added value that it delivers.
Okay, amazing. So, I mean, of course, it's some recommendations there as well. But Matt, what are some recommendations you would say to help to optimize to get the best out of PMax campaigns?
Yeah, it's a good question to kind of close on, or get close to the close. So again, I'll probably beat the horse again, a dead horse here, which is measurement. And I think measurement is the foundation. You want to start with that. Make sure you're asking the right questions. Are you tracking the right conversions? Are you optimizing towards the right conversion value? Yes, driving volume is not your objective, is to drive the value of conversions downstream. Once you're done with that, then the beauty starts on all the other stuff you can do to optimize campaigns even further. For example, your question, Shakeen's your questions, are we optimizing towards the right creatives? Are we doing enough to improve on our creative strategy and assets to drive overall performance? Some studies done on our end has proved over and over again, better assets drive better performance. For example, when we looked at advertisers that were uploading at least one video asset in their PMax campaign, that's a custom built for their brand, they were seeing up to 12% better conversions coming out of their ad spend. So your custom built assets, your videos, are much better than something that can come autogen. Autogen is great. It can get you off the ground. It's definitely driving better results and giving you coverage. When you spend the time to build your own creative, it relates better to your customer. And then the second element is, are you covering all grounds? There are a lot of different surfaces, a lot of different aspect ratios. When we started looking at advertisers that were adding at least one video for all the aspect ratios, so horizontal, vertical, and square, they were getting up to 20% more conversions. Just making sure they're covering all bases. We launched something called video enhancement, which allows you to do that automatically. So we can take your custom video and repurpose it. It's also called flip video back in the day. So we can do a lot of automation on our end. But if you have the time doing customization, uploading these videos, drive good results. And then looking at these data points like the asset insights, etc.
Super interesting.
There are some nifty points as well. We talked a little bit about URL expansion, which is a setting within Google Ads. We've seen that work really well, especially for lead generation advertisers.
I can confirm.
You have so much good content on your website, and that can power the right advertising for your brands. By turning on URL expansion, we scan your website and we figure out what landing pages make sense to drop into someone when they're looking at an ad or when they're searching for certain topics. And then along with that, it gives us the input needed to build the right text headlines, description, assets, etc. So it does automation, at the top level. And again, advertisers that we've seen using this feature versus those that were keeping this feature off saw up to 9% better conversions by just turning this feature on and letting AI do its trick in the background. And then the final piece I would end with, which is a standard thing you'll get from anyone at Google and Meta, is to chase growth.
Yeah.
You're in a business of driving performance. Marketing should not be a cost function. Like it's not a cost driver for a company, it's a growth driver for the company. Now, one easy way for marketers to prove that is to start looking at Performance Planner, for example, in Google Ads, and say, for every additional dollar, how much additional conversions am I driving? Am I operating at an efficiency frontier that's incremental? That means a dollar spent is driving a lot more than the last dollar that you spent on Google Ads. And then take that to your finance teams and have those conversations.
Yeah, that's the conversation to have.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And I think that's where, partners like Making Sense can be amazing, because you guys have seen this happen multiple times.
Yeah.
You're a good trusted partner to work with advertisers. And I think as a marketing person, you need to have those financial discussions internally. And companies like Making Sense are doing a good job in partnering with marketing companies to build a business case and then switch that dynamic that marketing is no longer a cost center.
Exactly.
It's a growth center for your business.
It is.
So, the show.
And what would your recommendations be?
Well, my recommendation maybe can look a little bit basic. It's just one, but I think it's super important, and so often it is forgotten. And it's about keep thinking about the user. So put the user first and think about the user experience, because sometimes we as advertisers are so into the data, into the settings, and trying to feed the algorithm.
All the buttons out.
Yeah, exactly. So, sometimes we take decisions, like I have a specific case in my mind where they wanted so much to help the algorithms that they group all their asset group. They just had one asset group for all the product categories. And of course, it doesn't help the user experience, because in your creatives, you have to display all the different categories together. So you may have an iPhone with a refrigerator, with a washing machine.
Yeah.
It's difficult for a user to understand what you are selling if you are showing everything together. So also, it's not just difficult for the user, it's difficult for the algorithm to understand which user you want to target with that creative. So my recommendation is keep thinking about what's the user experience. In the end, what the user sees is just the ad, the creative.
Sure.
So think about it. And in that specific case, they achieved a 32% increase in revenue with the same ROAS, just for splitting in different asset groups, their main categories, their main brands, and having specific and consistent creatives, so that the user saw, if the user interested in the iPhone was seeing an iPhone, and the washing machine one was seeing in the creative a washing machine. And that's helping not only the user, but mainly the algorithm. So it's thinking about the user also to help the algorithm.
Yeah.
So tactically thinking, creating asset groups based on your creative strategies, so you can at least get a grip on what's going on, and then you can report all of this data.
That's it, exactly.
At a granular level. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, you said it's a basic and most cost, but I think it's probably one of the most important ones, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because our approach with AI-based campaign is to try and find that sweet spot of aggregation. The more you put in a single campaign, the more volume the campaign gets. But there are definite limits to what you want to do. Like, let's say your objective is very specific, then you want to start splitting campaigns out. If it's coming from a different budget source, or you want to show very specific kind of offers, that's a good reason to split out campaigns. And then at an asset group level, it should represent what you want to go forward with. So it's easy to control and turn campaigns, assets on and off with the campaigns.
Assets, yeah.
To round up, I'm going to just throw out a random question to you both and say, if you can, in one sentence, say why PMax is so important for campaigns or for marketing overall to grow the business, what would you say?
Maybe I can start.
Yeah.
For me, it's the ability to follow the user wherever he is or she is.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, it'll be performance. I think we need to stick to that for our advertisers, and I think I'll keep it there.
Okay. Well, that was a great elevator pitch. But no, I want to round up by saying thank you so much, Cos and Matz, for coming on today, for making sense of PMax or
Thank you.
Performance Max.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And again, happy birthday.
So,
No, so if anyone wants to know more about Performance Max, please get in touch with us at info@makingscience.com, or just leave a comment or on Spotify. Well, I don't think you can comment on Spotify yet, but leave a comment in the comment section and let us know what our next topic should be. And again, thank you for making sense of Performance Max.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.